So, welcome to another edition of Relationship Tales series and podcast. In this particular podcast, we are going to be discussing a lot of things that is going to help family life, help us to build solid and profitable relationships that is going to help and foster a lot of cohesive, communication to be able to raise a generation that has family values that are in sync with God's design. In this edition, we're going to be talking about firstborn, their experiences in the family, in society, how it has helped to shape their life, whether positively or negatively. Draw out the lessons from it, through that, be able to learn together in ways that is going to help us to build family structures that is formidable, is ideal, emulatable. In this edition, you're going to be highly blessed. With me here, I have pharmacist Chidera. Welcome to this wonderful, amazing podcast. At the far end is architect Emmanuel. I myself, popular Prince Wealth, and Akukwa Keba. I'm the Relationship Tales author, and as you listen, I believe you're going to be blessed. There's going to be a lot of education, involved in this. There's going to be a lot of mind rubbing. We're going to be touching some things, and we are going to go straight into what we have today. We are Christians, and are living in a society that has a lot of expectations, on firstborns, and we know that firstborn children, we are not going to deny it, they do go through a lot. Intention is that, we want to be practical. That's why we call it Relationship Tales. We want to be practical so that people can be able to see the pain points and also see where they can improve. Everyone here is a firstborn, so we are going to be having a discourse. From the biblical point of view, we all know, God gave an instruction to Moses that they should dedicate firstborn sons. Say, firstborns belongs to me. Also seeing that light, that firstborn belongs to God, God has a very strong, intent and plan for them. Because of that, we are going to be seeing that a lot of things that God did, in as much as they may look a little bit deep and have some puzzles there that need to be unraveled, we also discover that God had a lot he did with firstborn, even through scriptures, right? And even as Christians, the church is called the church of the what? Firstborn. There was a situation in the scripture where the Israelites, they were fighting a war. I think that's with Moab, and it became so intense. Along the line, this Moabite king saw that the battle was going against him. The Bible made us understand that he went in and he brought out the firstborn that should reign in his stead and sacrificed him on the wall. He sacrificed him, and the Bible said that there was great indignation against Israel. That means God withdrew.
Yes.
Why? Sacrifice of the firstborn. And so you find out that there's a principle of firstborn that is so strong, it has a strong footing and rooting, that if you can be able to understand the place, the position of the firstborn, you can be able to utilize it in the right dimension and also enlighten people so that they don't trivialize that particular position in the family. And while not trivializing it, they should be able to as well not put these firstborns in a position that is going to jeopardize not just their destiny, but the destiny of others that are dependent on them. Basically, we are not removing the fact that these firstborns, they have a very strong position with God. And then the flip side is that the devil understands this and this principle of the firstborn, and so we also see the devil always trying to copy what God is doing. In that scenario, you find out that these firstborns in some particular places, particular communities, families, the enemy is expecting them to take up a role, a task that is either demonic, devilish, and negative, so as to also influence others that their destinies are also dependent on them. It's a very critical position in connection and in tandem with Christianity and our faith. The African firstborn children often carry a unique set of challenges, right, stemming from cultural expectations, societal pressures, and family dynamics. And so they really affect these ones deeply, and their mental health, personal growth, economic well being, and the likes. So we want to look at some aspects that they are being affected, just touch some of them in the area of parental responsibility at a young age. What and what have you been able to see yourself doing? Like, if you have a personal experience along that line, as regards fitting into the role of a parent, maybe at a young age. If you have that experience, when we talk about young age, you understand, young age, all of us are young. If you have a personal experience, you can share with us how you are able to fit into that role, what challenges, just in a nutshell.
I mean, we are not parents at the moment, right? So we are basically going to talk about it based on our experience as per if we were like a hypothetical situation.
Yeah.
For me, I can.
That's if you don't have a personal experience along that line. Then
Exactly.
you can. Yeah.
At the moment,
Yeah.
obviously, it will come. But then there's a mindset to use to prepare for the future. So obviously, I'd like to believe that I'm young. And in regards to parental responsibilities, obviously, in the same way, we are made to understand that as a man, you're the provider. That is your duty to provide for the family. Even the scripture made it so obvious that it said that when you forget about your family and you're focusing on other people, you are worse than an infidel.
He that cannot provide for his family.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I even like that scripture. I'm still going to talk about that provide.
Exactly.
All right.
So there is a responsibility that is definitely carved out for a man, because I'm talking from the perspective of a guy now,
Firstborn.
in a firstborn male, the parental responsibility now. And that role, we are meant to be the provider. So that means that there has to be that ability to work hard, the kind of person that would really be creative. When you are going to manage some of these responsibilities, you cannot really be depending on people giving you or waiting for things to come to you. Mindset of my uncle will give me, or this family member or calling they'll give me. You need to be the kind of person that you need to hustle, as we say in our language. You need to work hard to be able to provide for your family. That's one area of the responsibility as a parent. You also know that when you're a parent, you need to also be careful of spending time with your children. I've noticed this thing where some parents, they work a lot, and you won't blame them because they also want to make the wealth and the money that they can use to take care of their family. So they end up spending hours at work, and then by the time they're getting back home, maybe it's the nanny that is doing most of the parenting for them. And if you're not sure of the nanny's background, at a point, your children might be calling you by your first name instead of daddy or mommy, because you're basically becoming like a stranger to them.
So in tandem with, sorry to cut you short, in tandem with that now, how do we relate it to someone that is the firstborn? The firstborn carrying out this responsibility.
Yes, well, as a firstborn, you know that you are basically like taking on that role as a lens through which your other siblings would model parenting on, especially if you have siblings that are a little bit active like you. They like to set a kind of a challenge, right? Competitive siblings, like you're taking first, they're taking first, that kind of siblings. So you need to model a very
perfect, set up a high standard.
Exactly. So but you wouldn't want to give any room for error in your parenting style. So it can be challenging, obviously, as a firstborn, because you have that pressure of there are people looking up to you. There are people trying to see how you will handle this kind of situation now. If your child is chased away from school, how do you react in that kind of situation? Will you go and call cultists or call army people to go and harass this thing? What would be the approach you use to solve that problem? And then if you're able to solve that problem, then your siblings will be able to see that this method that my other brother used, worked. They can even reference you in situations where they encounter similar challenges, and they're able to solve those problems.
Guys, this is amazing. it's getting much interesting. Is this a responsibility placed on them? The fact that we are the first. Aturu bruise of war here. Just this. Yeah, that's one of the things I used to hear while growing up. Find out that there is a lot of pressure for you to meet up to a standard of expectation, both from your parents, your society, your sibling. Those are looking up to you, just like you said. On the second dimension, how have you been able to handle financial pressure? Financial pressure, as a firstborn, the other ones will be calling you brother, sister, send us something. Parents also used to see firstborns as a retirement plan, kind of. And if you look at some parents in our present day generation that are very, very much intentional, you see them striving a lot to see that they do not become a burden to their children. I was listening to Mrs. Funke Adojimo. She's the pastor.
Yeah.
She was talking in that light. She has talked about that she owns a farm, she does this, she does that, she's doing this, the one with the husband. Personally, despite being a pastor, she said she's doing all this. She does not want, to come and be putting unnecessary pressure on the firstborns, because it's going to be like, I now want you to do what is going to help to solve family issues, not in the direction of your purpose. So how have you been able, or how do you think those in this firstborn shoe, how do you think they can be able to handle this financial pressure? Or have you seen anyone that has such thing? How were they able to cope? If it's you, let us know.
Me, I don't experience financial pressure from my parents. It's actually a mentality thing.
Okay.
Like my dad retired last year, and before he retired, he has already made plans for after retirement.
Wow.
Now he's full time in job business, doing well.
Wow.
My mom is still in civil service. So I think
She's still active.
yes, she's still active. So when I spoke to my dad, I told him, hey, thank God that you were able to prepare for your retirement. And I said yes, so that he doesn't even want to stop.
You see?
So this is a mentality. There are even times when my sister calls me for, doesn't really disturb for money, but once in a while.
As another sister.
And me being irresponsible at that,
Okay.
I would also want to. So I think I overheard my mom and my dad, stop disturbing this girl, she's still trying to live her life. So I think it depends on family. Meanwhile, when it comes to this firstborn thing, it also depends on the first person to make money in the family. You don't really need to be the firstborn before responsibilities.
Falls on you.
Exactly.
These are the dimensions I really wanted us to bring out.
Yeah.
All right. These are the things that I wanted us to bring a balance to, so that those out there can be able to look inwards and introspect and learn, relearn where necessary. And that's the problem that we have in this generation. When you have too much knowledge and people are not willing to put in the work, sit down and tell themselves, this is how I want to become better, and then work towards it. Because it's not just a wishful thinking, something. You can think about something and wish it and have good intentions. But good intentions without action is nothing.
Yeah.
So it's the action that makes your intention to become intentional. Somebody say, I hear.
Yeah.
In that light, if you can even touch that area, let me see, because it's a problem when you come into a family and then there is that unrealistic, that expectation is just placed, the body is just on the first, regardless of whoever made money or is making money. And it has made them, those that are second or third, if they are making money, you don't even know, because everybody is just putting their eyes on the firstborn. Where is money for this? Where is this for that? Where is this for that? Where is this for that? And they don't even ask the second, they don't ask the third. They just assume that, because it's like a culture that they have created, and it's not right. This is one of the things we want to address.
This particular story I want to share, because I know the family very well, and the second son, his wealth is very visible.
Okay.
So obviously all responsibility now, including responsibility from the first child. So now he's even the one that even sponsored his elder brother's wedding.
Wow.
Yes. So the burden is much on him, trust me. But where God has blessed you. And okay, this also comes as a mindset and a mentality. So he's seen this mentality of God has blessed me to raise my family. Though the body is much from the family members, but he already has this mentality that let me do my best for the family. But trust me, you know that most times, you know that best is not enough for the family. Imagine you bringing like 10 million naira to sponsor your elder brothers. Thank God this topic even came out because this happened recently. You brought 10 million naira to sponsor your elder brothers.
10 million naira.
Well, this man in particular, this man in question is married, he has family. His sister had an EFCC case. He was
one that intervened.
So many responsibilities. That's what his mother had done. How?
You settle his siblings.
How?
Settle siblings. I don't understand that. I don't understand that aspect. Like
in inheritance,
like the settlement. Is it like
you
bring a particular amount, give this one? I want to settle you.
Business.
How? These people are working.
Oh my God.
Brother is working just like he's working in the government sector. And he just sponsored his elder brother's wedding.
That guy is good though. He's a good guy from
I think
education.
that's actually why, because he's not just even to outsiders, he helps people a lot. But I'm trying to tell you that no matter the effort you put in helping someone, there's just something about human beings. We are insatiable. We cannot satisfy a human being, even down to your family members. So just how? So in this case now, the common advice I feel I can give him is just do the best you can. Don't overstretch yourself. Stretches yourself, but not pass yourself. Put your family first, your wife, your kids. And he said that he is a man of wisdom. He said that with what he's seen now among his siblings, that everything, all his properties are willed to his wife's name. Because he has seen
the kind of demand.
So if something happens to him, definitely they'll drag his property.
You know, this actually is just like what you said. You see, there is this thing about humans, even in families, such that if you do not curb it as much as life within you, it's going to become a trend, it's going to become a pattern. You understand? And these are the things that we see, happening over and over again, and some are not willing, to be able to stand up to challenge this narrative. It's not helping matters whereby you are doing your best, and even your best is being talked down on. Even in the one you are bringing yourself, they're even saying that you should. They can go as far as saying that it's a lie. You tell them maybe you don't have, they say no, you have. You don't have, no, you have. There's a place you kept it. It's just that you don't want to give. That kind of thing. And you find out that you'll be feeling. Imagine that
they'll guilt trip you.
Yes, they will guilt trip you. You imagine that you are trying to. You even got something that you wanted to get for yourself. You brought out the money to use for family, only for them to tell you, is this just what you brought? They bring more, and you're telling that they're not even trying to, weigh your own situation. What is this guy passing through? Do you understand? Just bring, and it's something that is very, very wrong. Very, very wrong. Putting undue pressure, be it financially, on firstborns. Right now, this particular case is secondborn, and it's a rare case. I'm telling you. I heard about a particular scenario whereby this young man, he has not married, doesn't have his own house, but the second one has built his own house, has gotten married, and somebody say maybe he's not yet ready. So the money that he gets, first thing he's thinking about is how, because why? There's a mentality already, which is a nice one, but then it is not being balanced in family. Because I see that parents, they do not play their role well in enlightening the family members, siblings, that see, all of you are one. Anybody that God blesses, in as much as if he blesses the first one, as much as you can, help those that you can help in the family, as much as you can. Have that large heart. If it's the second one that God blesses more than others, help in the way that you can. It's not you should carry all your money and give, but weigh in what you have, how God has blessed you, and what others are doing as far as they are transparent. Because you find out situations whereby the second one is not transparent, they tell you they don't have money, or the third one, they say they don't have money. Next thing you hear that the person bought one property. Meanwhile, the one you have is benefiting, is using your own to chop, using your own to do many other. You understand that kind of scenario? And this thing plays out in many families.
Yeah.
Many families, I've heard it and I'm tired. And this is one of the reasons that these are things that actually spurred me, to getting these things out there, so that we can be able to look at it. Upcoming parents.
Yeah.
Please, get on, Emmanuel.
Yes, in regards to this financial pressure, you see, the thing there is that, you see, as a parent, you need to do something where you need to teach your children to understand that no matter who is who in the future, that they are all siblings, they are all family, they are all blood, and there's an order of hierarchy. Now, obviously, sometimes when there's a delay of something that the firstborn is meant to do in the family, they'll begin to tell you about Esau, how this happened, to make you feel like you are not sitting up, you are not being serious with your life.
That's that
kind
pressure.
of thing, that kind of pressure. But one thing I've noticed about my family, we are 3 brothers, right? We don't have any sister, and so it made us to also get to know each other in a different way. Because when we're growing up, we usually fight each other a lot. But then at a point in our lives, we told ourselves that, see, we need to stop fighting each other. We see these movies where this brother will attack this brother, or will do concussion for this brother, that maybe he went abroad and came back out of jealousy and all that. I said, please, let's not do this thing to each other. Let's learn to love each other. And so what we now did was that if one is doing better than the other, he brings that idea of what he used to make money and sells the idea to us. And the beauty is that we are not dumb, right? So we are all intelligent. If we're able to understand the concept of what he's doing, and we're able to do the same thing, and we can monetize it and make our own money. So instead of him making the wealth and dashing us money, he now teaches you what he's doing to help you to now make your own wealth. So the only thing now, he's not going to basically guide you, but he's not trying to control you or say, because I'm the second, I'm the one helping you, I am in charge, or play those tricks that Jacob played with his brother.
Where they undermine positions. Exactly. And
where, because of it, one thing about Jacob was that he was a very cunning person. Because he felt like he had an advantage.
That's his name.
And then he now said, oh, you want to eat this nabi? Will you sell me on this thing? But that's not what brothers are meant to do. You see, you're meant to be your brother's keeper. Yes, I need this thing. Give me. You don't need to add these conditions to it. Because eventually, if I'm able to learn how to make that thing, and I'm able to monetize it, there will be a point in your own life when you go through something, when you have a kind of financial setback, and I'll be able to assist you or help you, bring you out.
And what if you have been giving me conditions before?
Exactly.
And I said, hey, remember when you are giving me conditions?
If we have been beefing with each other, then
for me to help you now, you have to promise me that you are going to give me
you now begin to do
the lands you are going to buy in the future.
So these things will definitely put the bond in jeopardy.
Yeah.
And that's why it's necessary that as parents, we need to make our children to understand
brotherhood,
to be brothers,
family,
brothers,
sisterhood.
Not just based on the name, but in character, in the way they relate. If you see them fighting, tell them no, they shouldn't even try it. That this is like a taboo to fight each other. Make them to understand that they need to definitely work together in unity. It's not optional. It is necessary. It's very important that you do that. And when you're able to cultivate that mindset, you won't see them, being all, proud against each other. They want to carry each other along. That is why in some families, you notice that if you want to know a family that is doing well, check all the children of that man. They are all doing well. Nobody is lacking. And that is because they carry each other along in the process.
So you've been able to see this. This is amazing. This is a wonderful, point that you made, Emmanuel. And I believe that those out there are also watching, and they are also learning, because it's not just calling family. Family has the responsibility of teaching and educating its members, and that's what parents are meant to do. So I believe those that are upcoming parents, you've heard what he said and what we are saying. It's very important that we put core family values into consideration. Teach our children, family, the part of life. And this is a part of life: togetherness, growing together, no jealousy, no envy. And we find out that if you do that, do not disrespect the firstborn or the person that is senior to you. merely because they are not yet where they should be at the time. It's very important. Sometimes you can even see some mothers, trying to portray that you are the one that brings money more. You find out that instead of telling the firstborn, see, we want to do something, give him that respect or this, he will not tell you, okay, yes, this is okay. And he will not suggest, I think, Ifeanyi, who is the second one. Ifeanyi, what do you have to say? You understand? Because that respect has been created there as a core principle. But some parents, especially some mothers or fathers, who accord that respect to the second or to the third just because they give them more money, and it's very, very wrong. Or because they help in the family team more than the first. It's a very big issue. I believe that with this, a lot of errors will be corrected out there. So we've come to the end of this episode, and I believe it blessed you. So see you in the next episode, Relationship Tales.